Yo, what is up, you guys? It's K8 here, and welcome to Part 9. So, in this one, we're going to be doing the first part of rewriting. So, this is mostly going to be in the build and drop section that we're going to get to, and then the next one will be everything else. So, we're just going to start rewriting everything. So, the whole idea of my workflow so far has been to do the hard stuff first, like gathering the elements for each section that you would need in each part of the song, and then after that, you get to a point where you have all that stuff and it's so easy to build a track from there and to just rewrite it and all that. So we have everything we need in the track. We don't need to add anything else. So from here, it's just rearranging things, rewriting things, and we're in the home field for a track. So let's just get started. All right, so we're back in Ableton and we have everything we need. So this is really now the easiest part. So gathering everything, kind of figuring some stuff out, that's the hardest part. Rewriting, once you have all your stuff, it's so easy. So the way I like to work is like the first hour or so is just like what I consider the template build. You know, I'm just kind of gathering everything, and now from there I can just freely use all this stuff and write this track. So yeah, I don't know where to start, but we do have our intro, our build, and our drop, and our kind of release part after a drop. So none of these parts, the way they are now, is what they're going to be. We're just, what they are now is just kind of examples. So let's listen to maybe some of this and kind of start figuring out what we might want and what we might want to rewrite. So now everything we write is going to kind of be a little bit more locked in. So let's listen to maybe this. Okay, so I think there's some things I can do here. So let's just go ahead and mute some of these. Let's make this a little bit longer. I know this is my main layer here, so we're gonna just rewrite on this one. Also, let's open up this group and mute this. So the reason why we're using a longer clip is so that we can kind of write more variations into one clip. And I don't really have any hard fast rules for drops and all that, but I try to limit myself not to or have an idea of what I want to do rhythmically. So sometimes I limit how many notes I can have in a bar, and sometimes I tell myself I need to have more than this amount of notes in a bar. So sometimes what I've realized, it's always like, can I have 7 notes or less, or 7 notes or more? So if I'm gonna have more than 7 notes in a bar, it's because I'm gonna be doing like some weird triplet fast type of aggressive things, and if I'm gonna have less than 7, then it allows me to be more groovy. And either way, I'm gonna try to avoid placing notes where the kicks would be, so like on every beat in the bar. I'm gonna try to avoid that. So let's just play around with this. Okay, so I think you saw everything I did there. So now it's really important that we have this kind of where we wanted it to be. So let's color it so we know that we like it. So I'm just choosing a random color, a little bit of color association is never a bad thing. And now we can kind of use this stuff to kind of bring in the drop in the build a bit. So that's kind of why I left this build a little empty. Sometimes I make them a little bit more fully realized on their own. In this case, I kind of just wanted to leave it a little bit empty so that way I can kind of just like filter in some of these elements as the buildup goes, and then it really just helps the drop sound a little bit more, I guess, like it came in naturally. So let's throw in some of these elements. We'll see what works and doesn't work. So it's a lot of just playing around at this point. So let's listen to this. Alright, so let's bring out the filters. So if I'm going to use the filter, I already want it mapped to, do this. So let's kind of figure out how we're going to want this. So let's listen to the group. And I threw it on the group because I just want to filter them all equally. So let's listen. And let's just bring out that pencil tool, which is just pressing B on the keyboard. Make a little point here, just like that. And the cool thing about this is we could even automate this, but I need a separate filter for this part. So, or let's figure out this part real quick. So. So something like that should be cool, and let's just copy it up here to this group as well. So we'll just put it right before all this chain here. So la la la, like this. And let's make sure the automation copied over. Sometimes it doesn't, but most of the times it does. I think that was more of an Ableton 8 thing, possibly 7, I don't know. Let's just play this. Oh, and I forgot to turn off the filter for all the other parts. So let's just turn these off and just like only have it on right here in these parts. So we need to do the same down here. And now we're good. And we can just go ahead and copy this over here, so just so it plays over that stuff. And let's keep arranging. So we can cut whatever this is out here. Let's use a command or a Control Shift Z, something like that. So to kind of get rid of all that negative space in that selection. We're probably gonna want the drop longer than this, so I'm gonna guess we're gonna want it like this, something like that. So let's leave a little marker here, a marker here, and I think that's enough for the drop right here. So that's like about a minute and 37 seconds. I don't know, that seems a bit weird. Why did I select that? So let's add maybe 2 more bars here. Cool. Something like that. So I'm kind of following a rules of 3 sort of thing. You know, having like 3 repetitions where it keeps getting bigger and bigger or whatever. And let's see, what else can we do here? So yeah, I guess we should just figure that stuff out later. Alright, so we kind of ran out of time there, so we'll continue doing this in the next video. So yeah, I guess what we mostly had time for was just kind of rewriting the drop and putting a little bit of those elements in the build and a little bit in the intro. So we'll continue this in the next one. So thanks guys for watching, and of course, mates.